Table of Contents.
Introduction.
Week 1 and 2, the development of the heart.
Week 3 and 4, the ventricles of the heart.
How it connects to our central idea.
Fun facts.
Images.
Conclusion.
The end.
Questions.
Special thanks to.
Introduction. In this presentation, you will be learning about the ventricles of the heart and the development of the heart. And this is our topic for the 4 weeks of inquiry, and we want to show you what we learned today. So please pay attention closely because we're going to have a quiz at the end. Week 1 and 2,
the growth of the heart.
heart.
So we went through 3 stages, three periods of time for the growth and development of the heart. The first one was fetus, and then the second one was the child's heart, and then the third one was the adult's heart. And so for the fetus heart, first, it starts developing, and taking its regular shape right here, and over here too. And it starts taking that shape, and finally maintains that shape when you're about 25 days old, while you're still in your mom's stomach. And then while you're still in your mom's stomach, it finally starts beating when you're 5 to 6 weeks old, still in your mom's abdomen. And then your heart rate would be about 120 to 160 beats per minute. And
Okay, the child's heart. So I've been studying the child's heart and how it grows and when you're a child, oxygen is needed most because your heart grows rapidly and it beats faster, about 90 times per minute. And since your heart, like other body parts in your body, need oxygen to grow properly, that's why you need oxygen. And there are different processes of how your heart grows. So I'm going to explain one. So the first your heart is just a tube, and then it grows so rapidly it needs more space, so it bends and twists, forming its familiar shape, which looks like this. And then there's the 2 atriums are partly separated, but there's only one big ventricle. And after the atriums are completely separated, the ventricles start to separate like that. And then after the ventricles are completely separated, that means your heart is fully developed and you're in adulthood by that time.
so for adulthood, like Angie just said, that's when your heart is finally fully developed with the full 4 chambers. And then it
just does this regular thing, pumping blood to your whole entire body.
Just it's working normally unless you have any problems or
if your heart is too big
or too small.
Because if your heart is too big, that means the heart vessel is too thick and it's harder for your heart to beat. So people realize young athletes died because their heart was too big and it was harder to pump.
Week 3 and 4, the ventricles of the heart. So the right ventricle, what it does is it takes the deoxygenated blood, like in this diagram here. This is the passages that the deoxygenated blood goes to. It takes the deoxygenated blood from the right atrium, and then it goes down. So the deoxygenated blood, it goes into the right atrium, and then it goes down into the right ventricle, and then into the left atrium. But somewhere in the process, I'm not exactly sure at which point, but somewhere in the process, I know that the blood gets filtered so that it turns oxygenated, it isn't deoxygenated anymore, because you can't have deoxygenated blood in your body because you need oxygen in your blood cells.
The left ventricle, what it does is it gets the newly fresh oxygenated air, and the oxygen, when you breathe, it gets into your lungs, and the blood is also in your lungs, so the oxygen gets into your blood, and then it gives it to the left atrium, which is right here, and then the left atrium gives it to the left ventricle, and then the left ventricle pumps the blood into the aortic valve.
Well, I think
Aortic
it's like the right ventricle
Yeah.
puts it into the left atrium, which goes, and then
No,
it goes
it
to
doesn't, because
the.
it's newly fresh oxygenated blood, and then it pumps it into the
Aortic valve.
aortic valve, and then it pumps the oxygenated air into the rest of your body, because the organs in your body also need oxygen to grow properly. And
So the development of the ventricle.
we already explained it. Like, I already explained it how
Yeah.
there's just one big ventricle, and then it starts to separate. So it's like kind of like my hands are the ventricles, and then it's like slowly separating during childhood. So when you're in adulthood, it's completely separated, like the two ventricles.
So you're saying that right now my ventricles aren't fully.
Yeah. Okay, so how do those ventricles work together? So the ventricle's main function is to pump blood to the rest of your body and give it to other organs, like I said, so the oxygen can get into the organs for them to grow properly. Next slide.
So how it connects to our central idea?
So our central idea
Is systems have structures and processes which interact to sustain life. And so the first question that we asked was, how does the development of the heart work with other parts of the body to sustain life? And the development of the heart, it's like the heart works with other parts of the body so that it pumps blood and stuff. Like, it pumps blood to your body. That's basically the thing that it does. Like, imagine your body as one big machine, and each machine has little parts inside of it. Your heart is the one part that would pump blood to the rest of your body, so the rest of the machine can get the blood and use it for other things.
And how do your ventricles work with other parts of your body to sustain life? So, like I said, it pumps blood to the rest of your body, and so your ventricles give the oxygen to other organs in your body, which help those organs grow. And if we didn't have our ventricles, we would only have like half our heart, so it would be like 2 chambers only, and
Instead of 4.
yeah, and without our ventricles, we can't do anything, because the organs in our other bodies don't work. So I would say the other parts of your body, the ventricles work with your circulatory system, since the circulatory system is like in your whole body giving blood, and it also works with almost like every part of your body, and also, yeah. Next slide. Fun facts.
So the ventricles of the heart are really, like you've already probably guessed, there are 2 out of 4 chambers. The right and left atrium, and then the right and left ventricle.
Your heart is finally developed when you're 25 days old in your mom's stomach, because it's not fully developed, it's just starting to take shape, like Maxine said when we were talking about the fetus's heart. So.
And then your heart isn't, like we've already mentioned, it isn't like the whole entire thing with all the parts separated and working together fully until you're in adulthood, like Mr. Spedding.
So here's some images. So you can see, like, it has a diagram, so you can see the parts of the heart and what parts we were talking about. If you don't know where the ventricles and the atriums are, so you can maybe take a look at it.
And then we have another diagram. I think it's a diagram.
On the handout.
On the handout, too.
Conclusion.
In conclusion, we learned, like,
A lot. Because me and Ratrine didn't know that our ventricles were such an important part of our heart. I didn't know there wasn't anything inside your inside your heart. And
Me neither. I thought it was just a big blood bag that held blood and was like pushing it in and out and then in and out.
And we learned a lot during the 4 weeks of inquiry, and we hope you learned something from our presentation. And thank you for listening. The end. Questions?
Like muscles in the rest of your body. Which one does which again?
It's the left ventricle
Yeah,
that pumps the blood to the rest of your body.
oxygenated blood to the rest of your body, and the right ventricle is like it collects the deoxygenated blood and makes the blood.
Is it easy to like get like diseases in your heart
Well,
or your ventricles?
to be honest,
Well, there was one thing that we were planning to mention.
yeah, but we
didn't.
forgot it. Like
Well,
if your
no,
left
'cause-
ventricle,
Yeah, it's something that could cause a heart attack.
it's like when
um,
your left ventricle malfunctions, the most common consequence is a heart attack. So,
And then
Because-
malfunctioning means like failing or not being able to
yeah,
work
because
again.
if it's like, pumping like not correctly, that means your blood isn't getting to the other parts of your body, and your heart also isn't getting enough blood. So,
It's interesting because Isabella's presentation this morning connects to yours because she answered some of those questions. Marcos will be very specific about the valves. And Neves is kept it there too. So and very interesting connections.
When does the heart start beating again?
when you're
When you're 5 to 6 weeks old,
Yeah.
but you're still in your mom's abdomen when it happens.
Marco,
Which Marco were you?
It can be.
okay, yeah, Marco, left.
Oh well, then. Okay.